Okay, here we have Model 3 Frunk automated openers and closers by Hansshow. So let's have a look what's in the box. See what we've got. Well protected, which is nice because it's come a long way. Okay, put that to one side because it's just an empty box. Okay, so here we have the struts. Obviously two of them, both motorised, and most important, both having jam sensors. So if something does jam the frunk from opening, on either side it won't twist. So that's quite important. Some of them only have one motorised side, so it's only opening on one side. But the Hansshow one opens and closes from both, with jam sensors in both. So that was my reason for going for this product. Instructions, full colour, nice touch. Properly printed as well. This is not a cheap photocopy. So we'll be going through those later on the install. Rubber boots to waterproof something, that's good. 3M double-sided. It's always nice to see 3M products used because they're not using the cheapest, they're using the best. Nicely finished wiring loom. And another wiring loom. Good buzzer and a replacement spring in there. This is the main processing unit, which is nice to see in an anti-static bag. Again, it just shows attention to detail. So yeah, electronic components in anti-static bag. Warranty card. More 3M products, more 3M tape. Nice. Yeah. So this is a replacement. By the looks of it, this is the replacement latch assembly for the OEM Tesla front latch. So the business end, if you like. Ooh, hit the camera, sorry. Well made. Initially, yeah, it's well made kit. It's all finished off. Parts are painted where, you know, they didn't have to paint it, but it's painted. And the plastic mouldings seem good. So yeah, all in all, so far, impressed. I think that's everything out of there. So this is what comes with the kit. Well, looking at the instructions, they're very comprehensive. They've thought about every level of installer, I think, here. Full colour printing, which is nice to see. I really think anybody who's a reasonable hand with a screwdriver could install this themselves. And also included in the instructions, common problems, common issues, and what the lights mean. Yeah. Follow the instructions on install. They seem pretty good. pretty good. Everything plugs into the control box. The two struts go in, the latch goes in, everything. This is the guts of it. I've just seen another nice touch. The control box is made of metal, which is nice, and it's got a nice bit of, you know, they've bothered to put printing on it, which is, it just shows attention to detail. So yeah, all in all, I think this is quite a quality product. Okay, step one, open the frunk and remove the trim at the back. So this just lifts up. Off we go. Put that on one side. Right, so the next stage is removing the trim, or the front liner. And the first section is remove this block here. So this block just clips. That's quite important because without that off, you're not going to get at these screws. You're not going to get this out. Just to make it easier, I've disconnected the, it's probably a 3-pin connector, and then the switch just pushes out so this isn't flapping about. And then I'm going to reconnect this. You can only get it in one way. That's a lot easier to work with. Right, I'm now going to undo the screws that hold the front section in. And they are 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. Okay. Okay, I've just noticed one thing missing in the instructions. This panel here needs to come out because it's attached to the front plastics. And there's also a hidden screw. Don't forget to undo that. It is shown in the instructions, but don't forget to undo that one. Don't drop it. To get this panel out, fingers under the sort of the white poppers, just lift up and then it comes towards you. Okay, to remove the front liner, you just put your hands under and just lift up. It's just held on there, little poppers, both sides. Good tip, put the button above the latch, so when you lift it, it doesn't get caught up. Okay, we're now going to remove the standard Tesla gas struts and replace them with the Hansshow Motorised struts. And this is the best tool to do that with because they're held on with a couple of clips. They're just C-clips at the top and the bottom. You pull them out and you pop the gas strut off and replace them with these. Okay, the gas struts have got a metal clip which go around a ball that goes in here, and what you're doing with this hook is you're putting it behind the metal clip, being careful not to poke it straight through your thumb like that. You're putting it in, which will have the effect of opening up those jaws to let you just pop the gas strut off its mount. You're not trying to remove this clip completely. You don't need to remove the clip, just literally move it slightly away. Once you've popped these on, a good check is to get hold of the strut and try and push it away from the ball. If you can't push it away from the ball, the clips are engaged. Next step is we're going to replace the standard Tesla strong spring with a weaker one so that the motor for automatic opening doesn't have to work so hard. Best thing to remove the spring hook. Okay, so we've mounted the motorised box which opens the front assembly. We've replaced the spring. The motorised box is mounted there, and I don't know if you can see that. So looking down on the latch, it's slightly to the right. Put your head inside, look in, you'll see a flat aluminium strut that is basically the strength of the bumper. It mounts to that with a sticky pad, but obviously you need to cable tie it as well. And right above that point, and I can't show you on the camera, you've got to be a bit like Harry Houdini to get to it, but right above it are 2 holes which you can feel. If you put your hand up, you can feel 2 holes. Put 2 zip ties there. You'll see 2 slots on the motor which the zip ties go to, and just pull them tight. So not only is it stuck with double-sided tape, it's also held on with 2 good old zip ties. Okay, so we've now connected everything up. I'm just going to go through some of the connections because it's not so clear in the instructions, but it is correct in the instructions, but it helps if someone's there to point it all out. So you've got a sensor plug here. This sensor plug, you disconnect and it goes in line here. There is a motor here, if you can see that. So the motor here, which drives the opener for the frunk, that gets disconnected and goes into the loom to the control box, and then the top end goes back into the motor. The positive terminal, obviously on the positive of the battery, there, with an accessible inline fuse. The ground terminal, chassis ground here. The struts both plug into the control box. Left strut, right strut, each pair. The loom here really only has the buzzer and then all them other bits that I was talking about. And then this is the motor section, which is down there, held in with these cable ties that I was talking about earlier. So it's under there. We've replaced the spring. We've fitted the extra bracket using that bolt, and we've also put the emergency release here, cable tied to the existing loom. Okay, if you look at how that comes out as well, don't stick a screwdriver behind it, you'll break the tab off. It just simply pushes in and then out like that. Okay, we're now ready to go live. So the last termination is the power termination. Okay, so we're all connected up, and the next thing is to, first of all, with the front open, make sure that everything's right by manually energizing the front latch like this. Press down till it clicks. So you can see the safety latch here, and the main latch is holding down here. The next thing is press the release button and it will release, and you'll get a beep to say it's released. So do that twice to make sure that the action is correct. You don't want to be closing the front only to find you can't get in. Right, the next thing to do is you need to set the height of the front, because it's adjustable. You can have it set low if you wanted. I don't know why you ever would, but you can if you want. We don't, so I'm going to set the height in the upper position, the highest position. And to do that, you press and hold this button, the release button, keep it held, and then release on one long beep. That sets the height position. If you wanted it lower, you move it lower and you do the same thing. The next thing is to set the speed. There are 5 speeds for the front closing. They start at speed number 2, ironically, probably to differentiate 2 beeps from the height single beep. Anyway, it starts off at speed number 2, which is the slowest, and goes up to 6 beeps, which is the fastest. So to set speed number 2, you press and hold the button again until you hear 2 beeps. So I'm pressing and holding it. Keep it held. That's the height been set. That is now released. That is now set on the slowest speed to close the frunk. Now I need to check that it works. So in order to check it works, hang this switch just outside so that it doesn't get stuck inside, just in case, and press once. And that will come down and latch. And then to release it, press again. All in all, a good installation. Next thing is just tidy up all the wires and put the control box in its waterproof bag. So I'll show you that when it's done. Okay, all the cables are in, everything's tidied up. We've made sure that there's a channel for this wire here. So that just sits in a channel. Just run a Stanley knife along that. That goes in a channel. And everything is all cable tied up. Loose end there, I need to cut off. But everything is all cable tied up. This is the route I've chosen to take all the way up. This box, the control box, sits here, zip tie around the end so it's waterproof, and inline fuse accessible. That's it. Don't forget to leave this accessible. This is your frunk opening button. Don't lose it somewhere. Okay, we're all back together, and there's just one other point that is worth noting, and that is on the front button. When you're setting it up from the install, you have it connected so that this connector goes into the button and the OEM Tesla goes into this socket. That is only for testing. When you're actually using it, you disconnect these two and you connect this front button back to the OEM Tesla loom. Otherwise what happens is your front will close, but 8 seconds later it'll pop up. So if you're getting that fault, 8 seconds later it's popping up, you need to make sure that you've got this configuration and not this connected to the button still. Other than that, let's test it and show you what's what. So we're all tidied up, ready to go. On the app, open the frunk, yes. And close the frunk. You do exactly the same. You can also operate this from the screen in the Tesla. And close. And it's locked. Another thing that I've set up myself on this is the ability to use RFID tags. So I've got an RFID tag behind the front plate, and just with my Android phone I can just read the RFID tag, and the Android phone will then send the signal to open. Saves me opening the app. And the other thing you can do once you've put anything you want in there is if you just press the button, it will close. So there we have it. Overall, it's a reasonably easy installation. There's a few little intricacies that you need to know about, but I think I've pointed out everything on this video. I'm impressed with it. I think it's quality. It's well put together, and functionally does the job. They also do one with a foot sensor, so you can just swing your foot underneath and the front will open as well, but that was never going to be a problem for me. Anyway, thank you very much, Hansshow.